might not, bro.
but the whole model of teaching hasn't really changed over 100 plus years, right?
Exactly.
The process of teaching hasn't changed. Technology has changed, right? And all these different things in our world has changed, but the process of how we teach kids hasn't changed, and I think that needs to be modified. I think when we start to teach kids, when we tap in the way a child learns, we need to start teaching that kid the way that kid learns, right? Because kid A may learn maybe oral tool, or what was it, oral tool, whatever the word is, and then
oratory,
then child B he may need something more animated to keep his attention, right?
He might be more visual,
right? Versus saying that he got ADHD,
right?
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? For me, that's the cop out. I'm gonna label you ADHD so I can keep you on this model, versus me adjust the model and not label you ADHD.
And I think what you highlighted in the book about your own life kind of spoke volumes about how the public school system tracks black boys, right?
Yeah.
By placing them in special education classes and keeping them on that track, and then it almost becomes a self-fulfilling kind of destiny that you begin to think about yourself as being unintelligent, right? Because you're in these classes. And it's the stigma attached to it, because you talked about that as well. Like when you transitioned to Germantown High, you didn't want anybody to know that you were in these special ed classes.
Right.
You tried your best to kind of hide and not let anybody know in the school that, yo, you're in the class that's all the way down
In
the
the
hall,
corner.
in the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in all actuality, you never belonged in them classes. Which to me, I mean, speaks volumes about the American educational system with black boys. But one other thing I would say how teaching has changed is that teaching now is just teaching for the test. It's just standardized test scores. It's not about creating a person to use their mind to be analytical and critical about the world that's around them. It's just about rote thinking. It's like, okay, I can give you these things to prepare you for this standardized test, and as long as you pass it, I look good as a teacher and the school looks well. But they're not forcing you to think.
Right. No free thinkers? No, why we want to make you be a free thinker? You might decide to change the world that way.
You might question the
You
world.
might, what?
And it's all about the message. I remember when I first met Dr. Richardson, and we were having a conversation where I was like, Doc, man, tell them what you really want them to know. You know what I mean? Sometimes it got to come from the heart. You know what I mean? And Doc was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
I'm going to say how I feel. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to put the book aside. You know what I mean? Doc said it all the time. How can you teach, or how can you learn more about a person if you just sitting in your office and you just reading a book?
Can't.
You know what I mean? You have to get out there in the field.
Right.
Even out there in the field, how you going to connect with the people?
Right. Gotta touch the people.
You got to touch the
Got
people.
Touch the people.
You know what I mean? And since we're talking about education, man, I always say this once again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing,
over and
expecting
over,
a
with
different
different
results.
Yeah.
And that's the school system.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
But here's the thing though. I also say that for a child to be a child, the parent has to take responsibility, right? And when the parent takes responsibility, the parents can force the school system to change, but the parents don't sit up together to make, like, you know, I was having a conversation with my sister one day. My sister said, it's funny how the parents will come up here and act a fool over you taking a child's iPhone, but when you tell them there's going to be a meeting and they need to be there because the school is going to talk or discuss certain facts and situations, then you have two parents that show up, right? And so there's a disconnect between priority versus BS, right? Because I don't care about this phone because he shouldn't have it anyway because he's here to learn. But I think there's been a shift in what priorities is and the importance of what education is. You know, even me, like I was up Howard earlier today speaking to some kids, and I walked off that campus and came on this campus, and it's just like, man, like, yo, like, if I could do college over again.
I see that. Oh,
like,
Yo, that we try, you know, Che knows, like, my main thing is I try to bring as many people as I can up here. You know what I'm saying? Che's guest lectured my class. I can't even count the number of times that he's guest lectured the class. And I brought other, you know, young men that I met through the trauma unit, because that's where I work when I'm not here. I'm in the trauma unit. Shout out to Cap VIP, Violence Intervention Program at PG Hospital. But we work with young men that have been shot, stabbed, or assaulted. And it's summertime, so it's getting hot out there. So we really coming in contact with dudes. I was just in a young dude's hospital room, that was being guarded by the police. He was shot up 5 times. So you know what I'm saying? It's real out there. But I want to say, I say all that to say because a lot of times we succumb to the peer pressure. And the thing that I wanted to get in when I was reading the book is, you know, you ended up going to Shaw. You eventually graduated from the G. That's Germantown. For those who don't know, that's from uptown. You graduated from there. And then you go to Shaw in North Carolina. But you only stayed for 3 years.
Unprepared. I was unprepared, unfocused, and not ready for what I was about to walk into. And that's when I kicked myself about. Like if I was the me now then, shit, it's been a situation. It's been a real situation, right? And so I kind of took it for granted, and I let other things distract me. But let me show you how that label thing underlined still was my not an excuse, but it still was my disbelief factor in the power of me intellectually. Because when I did drop out of Shaw, I went back to, I was married and I was living in Richmond, Virginia, and I went back to Strayer. I'm at Strayer carrying a 3.75, a 3.8 GPA. And I get a letter from the National Honor Society saying, hey, you got these grades, we want to get you in here. But I don't fill it out. I don't fill it out and send it back because I didn't believe that it was really meant for me.
So you were traumatized by the label.
That's why I say labels are dangerous, because even as a grown man, it was still remnants of me not believing that intellectually that I was the one who was carrying this 3.7 GPA. Like I could have carried this 3.7 in GPA with my eyes at Shaw with my eyes closed if I focused, but I wasn't focused. I'm immature. I'm chasing booty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not focused. So and then when I finally get back, I'm married. I'm a little more settled, a little more mature, and then I get this letter and I never send it back because I don't think I'm worthy.
But you know what's crazy that you say that some of the most powerful men are artistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to say it was I think they said, tell me if I'm wrong, was it Einstein?
I was about to say it was. It was
Einstein,
autistic,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was autistic.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because I think Dave Chappelle said it best. You shouldn't call people crazy because it's dismissive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe the world is just sick. You understand what I'm saying?
I saw that one.
You saw that one. That was a phenomenal quote that he
Yeah.
did. You know what I mean?
That's real.
And by him saying that, man, that just opened my eyes to so much.
I think that we find ways to minimize what intellect supposed to look like, right? If it doesn't look like this turtle, and it comes in any shape, form, differently, in any altered way, then it's dysfunctional. It's not as sharp. It can't move the same proper way because it doesn't look like this.
Yeah.
And so when you recognize that it doesn't have to look like this and can be sharper than that, because it came from in a different path. So for me, even now, like I got books at home, like The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I got, you know what I'm saying. I'm reading a book now called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? You know what I mean. The younger me never did any of that, and I always say like, man, if this would have been me younger, then that book would have been totally different.
What would you have told yourself, your younger self now that
pace myself and understand that if you focus, you can create greatness. And that's what I think about all the time. Because, but I also think about things with you not knowing. Like for instance, I didn't find out that my father went to North Carolina A&T until he passed away. My father was at North Carolina A&T taking up, he was taking law classes. And he was in his second semester junior year and dropped out. He was carrying a 3.9 GPA and just dropped out. Then I think about the things I've seen my pop do over the years. My pop would just take tests, pass them just for the sport of it. So like, dude, you come from good litter.
right.
Why you think you stupid?
So then you at Shaw, you're not focused. I don't think any of us was, man. I had like a 1.6 when I transferred to UVA. My mom was like, "Yo, you're about to get up out of there," but and that's another story. But it does speak to how black men, as young black men, we go to school a lot of times and nobody really prepares us for what's coming. but we all know how to have fun. Like we good at that. 4.0. Like I'm a scholar.
What?
I'm a scholar in drinking, smoking,
Got my
whatever you want to
master's
talk
degree.
about. Like, yo, I'm official. But so you get out of there, and then, you know, you talk a lot about in the book how you got married at a young age, but you learned a lot about being married. Like you ended up moving to Richmond. You moved with this woman. You had actually bought a house.
Bought a house on my 30th birthday. It was my birthday present to myself.
That's phenomenal.
I woke up July 13th, Friday the 13th, 2007, 2008? 2007, because my dad had died earlier that year. 2007. And that was like my birthday present to myself. And it was like, yo, you accomplished this, right? But once again, it's funny because how I think back on things now. And for me, it was like, dude, you wasn't supposed to do this. Right? Because even when they stuck me in them classes when I was younger, they told my mom that I may not finish high school. It was like, he may not finish. Yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you going to say what I'm not going to do? You know what I mean? And so what are they saying to these young kids now? So, you know what I'm saying? So getting married was another step of that goal, that thing I wanted to do. So I took a chance. But I realized that marriage is much more